Let me ask you something. What if you were handed the keys to your entire future, but the first thing you did was toss the instruction manual in the trash? Today, we're diving into a really powerful modern parable called Crysticism 554. It's a story that kind of forces us to look in the mirror and ask how we're managing our own potential, our own inner fire.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, what on earth is a Crysticism? Well, think of it as a framework that uses stories, what it calls parable codes, to teach us how to handle our own inner energy and potential. They're basically like a set of keys for unlocking some real, practical wisdom about ourselves.
And that brings us right back to the central question of this whole story. What actually happens when you get this incredible gift, the symbol of your future, but you're so sure you know everything that you just ignore all the advice that comes with it? Well, to find out, let's meet our main character, a teenager named Diesel. So, on his 16th birthday, Diesel gets the ultimate prize, the ultimate symbol of freedom, his first car. Now, it's his dad's old silver sedan, but to him, it's like a video game victory screen just came to life. This car is everything: opportunity, responsibility, and the start of a whole new chapter.
But right away, we hit a snag. His dad offers him some practical, real-world wisdom, the boring but absolutely essential stuff like driving lessons and how to actually take care of the car. But Diesel, just buzzing with confidence from years of playing racing games, he just waves it all away. He doesn't need advice because he already identifies as a great driver. His skill isn't based on any real experience, it's just pure, unfiltered self-belief.
And right here, we get to the core of Diesel's whole delusion. He seriously believes that real-world cars work just like they do in a video game. I mean, he literally says, "I've never had to protect or maintain a vehicle in all my years of driving on the internet." He's completely mixing up a consequence-free simulation with cold, hard physical reality. Now, this isn't just a bit of teenage ignorance. Oh no, it's a full-blown philosophy. Diesel operates on something he actually calls the magic method, which is basically a belief that he can bend reality to whatever he wants it to be just by thinking it. His process is, well, it's simple and it's completely backward. Step 1. Reject any wise advice. Step 2. Decide what's real based only on what you want to be real. Step 3, and this is a big one, never ever check to see if your assumptions are correct. And finally, if something goes wrong, just assume there's some secret magic key or a cheat code you haven't found yet. So, of course, this grand theory gets its first real-world test almost immediately. His dad hands him the keys, but also a clear warning and $40 for gas. The tank is nearly empty. The instructions are crystal clear, the money's right there. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Well, pretty predictably, the first thing Diesel does is completely ignore the most important gauge on the dashboard. And this leads, just as you'd expect, to his very first breakdown not even a few hours after getting the keys.
And when he calls his dad from the side of the road, his excuse is it's incredible. He spent the gas money buying lunch for his friends, to make himself look good. He just assumed the car would keep going because he didn't want to believe his dad's warning. He literally chose his own desired reality over the obvious blinking red light.
And this moment right here, it perfectly lays out the huge difference in how they see the world. His father's approach is that classic trust but verify. A healthy mix of belief and real evidence. Diesel's method? It's the exact opposite. Don't trust and don't verify. And he's proud of it. He calls it wishful thinking. And the delusion just goes deeper. When his dad asks him why he keeps getting Fs on his school tests, Diesel has an explanation already. See, the F doesn't stand for fail. No, it's a secret code from his teacher telling him to find the magic method. He twists every failure into being just another step on his quest for some secret key to success that requires zero effort. This is probably a good time to just pause and ask ourselves, where do we do this? In our own lives, with our health, our money, our relationships. What are the warning lights that we're choosing to ignore just because it's easier to believe everything's fine? So after that first incident, you'd think maybe, just maybe, Diesel would learn his lesson. But he doesn't. Instead, the neglect just keeps going, and he enters a brand new phase, blaming everyone and everything else for what's happening. And the car itself, it starts to become a physical map of his neglect. It's just a catalog of his bad decisions. You've got dents from bumping into stuff, scratches all down the sides. Eventually, he just takes the doors off because they won't close right anymore. The rims get bent from hitting curbs, so now the wheels literally wobble when they turn. It's a constant, shaky reminder of his carelessness. So what's his response to all this damage he's causing? Total
complete denial of any responsibility. It's not his fault he can't park. It's the world's fault for putting things like poles and benches in his way. He even gets to the point where he blames the car itself for the damage that he's doing to it.
His twisted logic really hits a new high with the tires. To deal with a slow leak, his solution is to just keep pumping air into it until it explodes. And his conclusion? Well, obviously the tire must have been defective. He even says that a basic law of physics, tire pressure, is nothing more than a personal preference. Look, a car could only take so much abuse, right? His whole philosophy of wishful thinking is about to have a head-on collision with the unbending laws of physics. That final, inevitable breakdown, it's coming.
The things he does to keep his illusion alive become just truly absurd. With all the warning lights on the dashboard screaming at him, his solution is to just wear sunglasses indoors to block them out. When the windshield gets so cracked he can't see through it, does he fix it? No. He cuts a hole in the roof so he can look over it. He is actively, desperately choosing to be ignorant.
So his dad, just using simple logic and what he can see with his own two eyes, makes a very calm prediction. He's not trying to curse him, he's just stating the obvious outcome based on all the evidence. The car is falling apart, and very soon it's just going to stop working.
And Diesel's response is to take this perfectly logical prediction and twist it into a personal attack. He can't face the reality of the situation, so he reframes his dad's warning as some kind of malicious curse. So if the car fails, it won't be because of months of abuse and neglect. No, it'll be because his dad jinxed it.
And now we've reached the final and most tragic stage of his entire philosophy. He genuinely believes that his sheer force of will, literally yelling at and threatening this inanimate object, can somehow override total mechanical failure. He thinks he can bully the car into defying physics, calling it his obedient slave.
But here's the thing. You can't argue with physics. The car becomes exactly what it was always going to become under his care. A smoking, broken-down wreck. This is the only possible end of the line for the magic method. Complete and total failure.
In the end, this parable isn't really about a car at all, is it? The car is a metaphor. It's our potential, our talents, our health, our opportunities. It's that powerful vehicle we're all given at the start of our own journey. So the question that Crysticism 554 leaves us with is this. Are you checking the gauges, or are you just driving with your sunglasses on, hoping for the best?